Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of malpractice insurance when you're in private practice. First three tips I want to give you towards malpractice insurance is just in applying for it. You have the right to research the carriers, and you should research the carriers. Don't settle for the first insurance carrier that someone recommends you, or the one that you had while you were going through college and it was an intern. You want to make sure that you pick the insurance carrier that offers you the best coverage, that is familiar with your state and your state board and the rules of that state, so that you have the proper coverage if you ever need any kind of malpractice defense, or if you need to pay a claim, that you want to make sure that that insurance company knows how to handle the claims that are made within your specific state and your licensing board rules. You want to also be careful to fill out the application correctly when you apply for the insurance, because that's going to be held on record. And if you make a mistake, or if you miss key information, or if your information doesn't match, when it comes time to either settle a claim or to defend you, they're going to go back to that original application. So it's really important that you put the right information on the application, that you keep a copy of that application, as well as keep a copy of your insurance paperwork once you are insured and covered. And then, of course, it may seem like common sense, but we don't always take the time to read our policies thoroughly. So not only do you want to keep a copy of the application, choose the right carrier, but you want to make sure that you've read through that entire coverage to know exactly what's covered and exactly what might have to be covered elsewhere, or get additional insurance to have that option, have that rider added on to your malpractice insurance. This is for your protection. And not only that, your malpractice insurance is something that's going to be required of you by insurance panels should you choose to join a panel. And so you want to make sure that your insurance panel has a copy of your insurance certificate and that it covers all your needs. Because just being on a panel does not cover you for liability. You providing yourself that malpractice insurance is going to cover you for liability. And so you want to be very specific about what kind of coverage you want for your practice. And then you want to look at, if you are a group practice, what type of insurance does a group practice want to have, and then if they will have additional insurance for each provider in that group practice, or is that enough coverage in the group policy to cover you as a provider working under that group. If you ever choose to leave that group, you want to make sure that the time between the time that you leave the group and that you start your own practice or work for some other entity, that you have coverage that covers you beyond that. And in some places, it's considered that tail coverage. It covers you for the time between leaving the group and the time that you decide to get your own insurance, malpractice insurance coverage. So check into that and make sure you're covered for that period. Make sure that when you switch insurances from a group practice to an individual, that you have one that fits your individual needs. If you're in full-time practice, you want to make sure that your insurance covers your full-time practice. You don't want to pay for part-time coverage when you're in full-time coverage. Maybe you just went from part-time to full-time. Update your insurance and have the proper coverage. For most insurance policies, they typically cover 100,000 to 300,000 per incident, and they usually have a cap for that insurance policy year, somewhere between $1 million and $3 million for the entire year for all coverage that's required. And so you want to be sure to find out how much you're covered for per incident, but also how much you're covered for the year. We hope you never have any incidences, but if you have more than one, you want to make sure that you have coverage for all of the claims that we filed against you. You also want to verify when it comes to coverage, are they covering you for claims that are made and that are substantiated and that are being defended, or they're just covering you for claims that are made and maybe they're settling those claims without your knowledge. Make sure that if they're going to settle claims without your knowledge, you want to be able to read that in writing, and you want to be able to say, no, I don't opt for that. I want that if claims are settled, that I have knowledge of that before that decision is made, and that I'm included in that process. Because the last thing that you want is to find out that there was a claim and it was settled and you had no time or ability to defend yourself because the insurance company went and settled the claim without you. So read thoroughly through your policy to ensure that you have protection against that. And if you need to make some changes so that you are notified and you get a chance to defend yourself and have a say. Because once a claim is paid, that's reported to your governing body. And you don't want a claim out there that's been paid that you had no opportunity to defend yourself, reported to your governing body, and then you're liable for that claim to your governing body to explain how that happened and update your information. And also, when you go to renew your license, you have to verify that. You have to put that in there, and they have to know about it, and you have to respond to it. So you want to make sure that your insurance is not doing anything without your notice, which is why it's important to read and find out what the insurances will cover, won't cover, what their procedures are should there be a claim made against you or against your practice. And to know the rules and the laws of your state, so that if your state allows you to have coverage and it caps the amount that can be awarded, it's important to know that. And I know that there are some states that do have a cap. The state of Texas, California has caps, and also Florida. But find out if your state has caps, if your state's outside the 3 states that I've just named, and find out what they are, and find out what the rules of your state and your governing body in your state are to make sure that you're fully protected. One of the benefits of malpractice insurance is also that many of the malpractice insurance carriers will offer free CEUs at least once during the year and sometimes more. Avail yourself of those free CEUs. They also send out newsletters and frequent announcements that just tell you what some of the best practices are, what are some of the things that people were filing claims again, and if they won, if they didn't win, and how to learn from somebody else's mistakes. Don't just ignore those emails and those newsletters. Read them, because they're going to remind you of best practices so that you can look around and see, am I implementing these best practices in my office? Is there something I need to change in my procedures and my practices to ensure that not only am I doing everything that I need to do to ensure that my coverage is well protected, because on my end I'm doing what I need to do, and also I have enough insurance policy to cover should there be a claim or should there be an incident. So avail yourself of every resource that is available to you as being someone who is paying for that policy. Don't let those free CEUs go without utilizing them before your next time to recertify your license. So thank you for joining me. My name is Gessy Martinez, author, therapist, and coach, helping you achieve your private practice dream and get out there and help others who are waiting for you to open up your doors to help them. Thank you so much. Until next time.